So apparently Dinesh D'Souza has a new book out, or a new movie that is, I imagine, just as much of garbage as everything else he's put out. Remember, this is a now look, I don't think that someone should go to jail for the crime that this felon committed. It was a federal crime. He, if I remember correctly, he gave thousands of dollars to other people to contribute to a campaign so that he could go way beyond the max.
Instead of just giving to a super PAC, which says something about his, I don't know, mental strength.
Yeah, it was like a straw donor scheme.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
And it's also, you know, what's happens there is he also wants to be able to say to the candidate, like, I'm responsible for $10,000 that came in, incidentally. This is him trying to buy influence. I mean, that's what it is. That's why he doesn't give to a PAC.
Yeah. His ego got him imprisoned.
And so this former convict, again, it was up to me. People would not go to jail for these type of offenses. But if it was up to him, he would go to jail for that type of offense for double the amount of time they spent in there. So here's Dinesh D'Souza mad that he's not getting, I mean, really, he's being censored. He's being like shadow banned.
By
the competition.
Yeah. Free speech warrior over at Fox.
Justin Wells, who's the executive producer of Tucker Carlson, sent me a series of highly abusive messages, basically saying, Dinesh, you're finished. Well, you're never going to come on Tucker ever again. We're done with you. We have the most powerful show in news. We're going to teach you a lesson. All kinds of abusive stuff. By the way, there's a train of texts. I did not respond in kind. I responded respectfully. I'm just like, Justin, listen, this is our content. We've produced this. It's going to be part of our movie. If you're not going to mention the movie, just don't use our content. That's all.
That was really
so. This is the way that these people try to strong arm people, and I have held my tongue for months about it. But I thought, you know what? Now that the movie's out, it's a case where we don't need them. They haven't helped us one bit, and so let's point out what bullies these people are. Now, did Justin Wells make this decision on his own? I don't know. Was Tucker behind it? I suspect, to be honest, it's Tucker, because I find it hard to believe that his executive producer would write, using language that I quite honestly cannot remember ever being spoken to as an adult like this by anyone, let alone some punk who's like 40 years old. And I don't think he would have done it without Tucker's okay.
I just want to make something clear. That I seem to remember getting into it with him on Twitter, and I feel like I said worse things than that, and I feel like I'm not getting credit for it. In the same way that apparently Tucker's using his the lies that he's probably assembled for his dumb movie without crediting him, I feel like I'm not getting the credit for, talking to Dinesh D'Souza like the little man baby he is. And so I think we should be writing an email to his producer.
Yeah, they're shadow banning you.
Yeah, who's really being censored?
Exactly.
Honestly.
Dinesh tweeted out, I'm sorry to say Tucker Carlson and his team specifically instructed Catherine Engelbrecht of True the Vote not to mention the movie. That is censorship.
Whoa.
Much like he is, Dinesh is censoring his wife, right? That's
No, you don't talk, please.
Who does attempt to talk at one point, and then he goes, "I'm being strong-armed" as he talks over her. The very Josh Hawley setup here that we have, like the podcast that he's got going on.
I wonder if the conversation at Tucker Carlson show went something like this: let's have the True the Vote person on and talk about the stuff in the movie, but don't mention it comes from the movie. Then people will know it's bat crap crazy. Yeah. And then if we source this, actually, it's going to be much easier to show how ridiculous it is. But let's continue here.
An adult like this by anyone, let alone some punk who's like 40 years old. And I don't think he would have done it without Tucker's okay. So I'm sorry to say, because I respect Tucker's work. I want Tucker to be successful. Tucker does great work. But this kind of abusive, strong-arming conduct is inexcusable. I mean, I'm hurt about it. I'm angry about it. And now you know about it.
Tucker's 52.
Oh, what a supportive wife. Tucker's 52? No, but the producer.
Yeah, the producer might be a little younger.
Gotcha.
Justin Wells.
Which is a weird thing to throw in there, though.
Let me tell you something. The sure sign of someone who is extremely concerned about how the image they're projecting in terms of it being weak or snowflakey. One of the first tells of that is if they use the word punk in a non-ironic way. When you say you punks, you are basically announcing that I am afraid that someone is going to intimidate me, and I'm quite sure that it shows. And because no one else uses the word punk non-ironically, the only time it's been used to effect was literally 50 years ago in Dirty Harry, when he was giving that talk to the bank robber that he had witnessed from across in the cafe. I remember that scene very vividly.
But is it not apt that it was uttered by conservative hero Clint Eastwood?
Marxist Twitter moderator says, is some 40-year-old punk, quote, is that supposed to mean they're too young or they're too old?
Right.
Yeah.
Middle-aged miscreant.
Yeah. You 40-year-old punk. What the hell does that mean? Like some 40-year-old upstart?
Yeah, he's only 9 years younger than you, Dinesh.
Yeah.
Dinesh D'Souza is 49?
No, Dinesh is 61.
Oh, 61.
Tucker's
He
52.
is?
Yeah.
Tucker's 52, but he was referring to the...
Right,
producer.
gotcha. Yeah.
So wait a second.
He should have just said, respect your elders, Tucker's producer.
At what point do you move from punk to, guy who says 40-year-old punk? Like, does that, like, I'm 52, that 40-year-old punk. Like, when does that happen?
It's also funny that Dinesh dated both Laura Ingraham and...
Very funny.
Ann Coulter.
Yep.
Very funny. He's really got great taste. You got to give it to him.